the last session of our talk, we, as agriculture is our topic for today on Let's Talk Business with Mr. Daniel Steinman, we also need to look at, some small stock. How does the small stock play a role in Namibia's economy?
Elsevier, roughly speaking, about 1/3 of Namibia produces not cattle, goats and sheep.
Yeah.
So it's a very important commodity for the southern two regions, for Hardap and for Kharas.
Yeah.
It is basically the only commodity that you can produce at scale. You know that we had about 15 years ago this failed experiment with ostriches, and everybody thought, yes, ostriches can be the answer to increase the output of agriculture in the southern regions. Why? Regions because cattle, or not cattle, goats and sheep are controlled commodities. Like they resort under the old meat board, it's now the livestock and livestock producers, livestock products board. But everybody knows what the meat board is.
Yeah.
Different name, same thing. Does the same job. More animals or type of animals included under the umbrella. So if you look at the price for sheep and goat, you will immediately see it's not determined by the farmer. He has to accept what he gets at the abattoir, or if he loads them on a truck and he gets a permit to export them to South Africa, he has to basically take what the market offers. And these prices are set. They're fairly rigid. The movement is small. There's movement in the price, but you can't plan your production for a whole season ahead because of the prices that you know. You have to basically go on average prices. So ostriches, they were seen as a solution to increase the value of the commodities, the agricultural commodities that are produced or producible in the south. Unfortunately, the government interfered so much in ostrich production that it failed. It could have worked because the ostrich industry in South Africa is still running very hot, very well, very good, and it's a boost to tourism, and it's to export products and to ostrich skins and all. It's a very developed market or industry in South Africa. Here it failed completely because of government interference. And people criticize me for saying that, but if the ostriches as a whole, as a commodity worldwide, if it didn't work, it would have failed in South Africa as well. And in Texas, where there's a fairly lively and a big ostrich industry, and in countries like Morocco, in North Africa, where there's also a very vibrant ostrich industry. But that's history. If we look at small stock, we must not underestimate their potential to earn income. Now again, like with red meat 20, 30 years ago, cattle, there's a political element that you cannot ignore. The majority of farmers in the south, outside the communal areas, are still white. So it means if I say small stock creates an income for farmers, by implication it means that it is still mostly white farmers. So there is very little movement in terms of creating a more equal dispensation of the type of income that is produced by small stock. But the fact that there are so many farms where small stock is produced very successfully should serve as an indication that if the government will only promote market forces and not production forces, small stock will grow as an industry by itself. Now what I've just said is a mouthful. Let me try to depoliticize it. If you want to cap the quotas that abattoirs may or may not slaughter, you are interfering with the market. The government should keep their fingers off the abattoirs.
Yeah.
The abattoirs, so it must not be an operational interference. The only thing that's important for the government is to ensure that the health standards, the hygiene standards, production standards are adequate, so that we don't lose the access to the South African market. And if we do that, then the government must focus on the financing element. How do we make financing available to more farmers that are not necessarily only white farmers? Because Elsabe, to bring up a goat or a sheep is not that difficult. No. So what I'm trying to say is, there's no type of magic in it. There's a type of dedication, and there are a few simple scientific things that we need to do, and animal health aspects that you need to adhere to. Then everybody can be a successful small stock farmer.
Yeah.
But the government has to keep its hands off the industry.
And on that note, I hope that the government does take note. We unfortunately have to come to an end with this talk, but of course you can catch us again next week, same time, same place. From me, Elsabe Timiani, and from the team, we say goodbye.